let's start with out-of-home advertising. Basically, what we're talking about is any advertisement that is outside of your house. Majority of the time that we spend is outside of our homes, and so this is one of the biggest areas of advertising. As you can see here, billboards makes up 65% of OOH, out-of-home advertising revenue, followed by transit, which is really public transportation like buses, subways, rail, airplanes. Mobile billboards is in a separate category of alternative, like you see here on this semi-truck. You also have the aerial and the skywriting, and that category makes up 12%, and then street furniture here makes up 7%. Top 10 advertising categories is number 1, miscellaneous services and amusements, 2, insurance, real estate, 3, communications, 4, public transportation, hotels and resorts, 5, media and advertising, 6, retail, 7, restaurants, 8, financial, 9, automotive, dealers and services, and 10, government, politics, and organizations. One of the fastest growing outdoor ad industries is now the digital outdoor advertisements. As you can see here, there's an image, a couple video screens in a rail transit, some of the largest HD billboards. We'll look at that. This last year, they projected for digital out-of-home advertisements to make up $4.6 billion in revenue. Let's watch this video.
Nearly half a million people pass through this intersection in New York City's Times Square every day. And starting tonight, the giant billboard behind me will be at the center of their attention. The 8-story tall mega screen spans the entire length of a football field, and it's the biggest billboard New York has ever seen. The digital display is giving outdoor advertising a high-tech twist, and with 24 million LED pixels, advertisers will be able to engage with pedestrians, post things like tweets and Instagram photos, update campaigns in real time, and even broadcast promotions to this massive audience. Companies are reportedly paying $2.5 million a month to occupy this massive billboard. So why is it so valuable? Well, because it's reaching an audience that only Times Square can attract.
So wow, the size of a football field, $2.5 million a month. Let's see what Google Android is doing with their $2.5 million. So literally you're seeing how people are interacting with the screen simultaneously. So pretty next level stuff. I think when you look at the traditional and the non-traditional, they really are becoming a hybrid in many ways, where you're seeing billboards become more interactive and dynamic, connected with social media. And so we get to another category, experimental outdoor advertising. It's when we're seeing a little more dynamics, a little more creativity infused into the outdoor ads. As you can see here, these people standing in a huge schooner of Newcastle beer, looks like at Del Mar Racetrack in San Diego. These segways wrapped with an advertisement. I thought this was pretty cool. Hot Wheels ads. I mean, those are billboards, yet they're not billboards. They look like two kids playing with their Hot Wheel cars in the house. so really size and scale trips you out. This here with nose trimmers and power lines. Again, this oversized Nike ball. Here's another kind of infusion, a hybrid done by Coke.
Coke's main mission this summer was to continue to be the refreshment of choice. To continue to win the category, we had to stay relevant, up against newer brands, changing lifestyles, and stiff competition. We collaborated with Coca-Cola, Clear Channel, Google, and ICUC to solve this. Introducing What's in a Name, Times Square. What's in a Name is an evolution of the hugely successful Share a Coke campaign. We want to celebrate the meanings, stories, and things you didn't know behind each of our names. Times Square visitors can tweet in their first name with the hashtag #CokeMyName to see a personalized story about their name broadcast on a digital screen twice the size of a double-decker bus. The stories are fun facts, the meaning behind names, or snippets of trivia. A camera on a nearby opposite building automatically takes a photo of each story on the digital billboard. These photos are then tweeted back to the consumer. A dedicated mobile website allows consumers to continue the fun of discovering name facts and sharing this with their friends. After all, sharing is what Coke is all about. And for those not in New York, consumers can still tweet, receive, and share their individual picture of their Times Square billboard. The campaign has received an overwhelming number of name entries, and we've been blown away by the positive reaction from those people who have interacted with the billboard. People are sharing, tweeting, snapping selfies, and talking about the campaign. We are proud to share a Coke with Times Square.
So as you see there, another example of how modern technology is really transforming traditional media with non-traditional, incorporating that social piece and really that dynamic interaction. So let's look at some of the more classical, traditional in-store media. As you can see here, everything from shopping carts to POP to in-store displays. I thought this was a really cool checkout stand, very creative. That I think that's the threshold that we're moving to as far as using the classic traditional methods, but becoming more creative with the space and what we're able to utilize. This was a cool campaign about only using what you need, keep the rivers flowing in Denver. Again, we see here cooler handle inserts and floor decals. We've all seen at times and maybe even enjoyed promotional products. Again, you could put your logo, your company brand, your organization on just about anything you can dream of. And so some of the statistics is, wearables are the number one category at almost 29%, followed by bags and pens. 94% of all people have received at least one promotional product in the last 12 months. 89% recall the brand name from that product. 83% like receiving those free products. 38% feel that it's like a constant reminder of the brand. 60% use at least once per week that product they were given, and 69% of people actually keep it and hold on to them. So very effective, classical way of creating awareness with your brand and your campaign. So let's look at some of the advantages and disadvantages that are happening here with outdoor ads. We'll also talk about transit and promotional products. With the outdoor ads, you have a wide coverage of local markets, frequency. It's usually 30-day periods. Geographic flexibility. You can put them on highways, near stores, inside the stores, on the floors, on shirts. Creativity. As you can see, there's a lot more enhancements happening with digital signs, a lot more interactiveness to it, and even just really maximizing visibility. You can really turn something two-dimensional into three- or four-dimensional with the right abilities and creativity. So you have also the ability to create awareness with your brand. You have efficiency. Outdoor ads are pretty efficient. You have effectiveness as well. They can showstopper. You have production capabilities. A lot of the stuff can be digitally printed and turned around in a relatively quick amount of time. And again, timeliness also plays into that. Some of the disadvantages is waste coverage, limited messaging capabilities. Only a certain amount of people drive down a certain road, so you're not hitting your entire target market. They do wear out, as you can see in that sign. They're also cost. It's still relatively high for large billboards and digital. You saw $2.5 million for 1 month of control over that huge billboard in Times Square. Measurement problems, that's always an issue, getting it just right for a certain space. And image problems, they've suffered, you can have issues with that too. So let's also look at, some of the advantages and disadvantages of transit ads. You have good exposure, good frequency, especially if it's a bus that's going around. A real creative ad. You might have saw in the earlier slides, it looked like it was for the zoo. It had like a snake wrapped around it. So again, a lot of creativity can be put in there, and relatively low costs comparative to the outside advertisement. Some of the disadvantages is you don't quite have the amount of reach, and also people that are riding public transportation could otherwise be exhausted, distracted, as we can see some gentlemen here in this picture. When it comes to promotional products, some of the advantages is you have selectivity. It's one-on-one. It's one person, one promotional person handing to one person. So again, you're not reaching that full target. It's just the people you're encountering on a given day. Flexibility. So, flexibility is, anybody can afford it. The entry level for purchasing promotional products is relatively low. So both small and large companies can get in on that. Frequency. Again, people have a tendency to retain this stuff, whether they're keychains, calendars, beer koozies. So you also have cost. Is low cost, low point of entry. Goodwill. People enjoy stuff that's handed out, quote unquote, free. They seem to hold on to it more. And you have a high recall too, which is pretty powerful when you talk about building awareness, promoting a brand. You want people to be able to recall that after the fact, and those really do the next thing as supplementing other media. It's really helps to reinforce other advertising efforts, like the transit and the outdoor. Now, some of the disadvantages is, we've all seen some of the promotional products. They could be cheesy, they could be cheap. Um, this example here was Evian Waters, bought these water bras, which was kind of funky, and a little bit of a fashion disaster that was associated with them. Saturation, lead time. A lot of these products come from overseas. If you've ever purchased them, or if you do in the future, just be wary that most of them come from China or overseas, and so the lead times can be 3 weeks to 6 weeks to get pens, pencils, or whatnot. And also the reach can also be an issue there. With that being said, I would like to thank you for listening to this presentation.